Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Meet the Author. Today, I have Rachel Leigh here with me. Rachel, thank you so much for
Thank
jumping on and just being willing to talk with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So excited to have you on here. I always like to start these interviews with a very just simple question. So I have to know, do you consider yourself more of a dog person or a cat person?
Dog. Definitely dog. I do have cats, but my dogs are my babies, so but I love cats too.
I always wonder, so you have both. Do they get
Mhm.
along or like the dog kind of does its thing and the cat like they do their own thing?
Oh yeah, they get along great. My golden doodle and our baby cat, I guess he's not really baby anymore, but they're like best friends. They are so cute together.
So awesome. I have a
Yeah.
friend who has a cat that, like, behaves like a dog, like, wears a harness, goes on walks daily. Like, she lives in an apartment complex, and she's like, "I'm the crazy cat lady that, like, walks my cat."
Oh,
Like
I love that though. I love it. Yeah, my cat acts like she's or he. I keep saying she acts like he's a dog. Like if I ask the dog if he wants a treat, the cat will come running like it knows what the word treat is. I mean, it probably does, but
that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's cute.
I think cats that are like if I had to, like, ever have a cat, I would want a cat that has a personality like a dog, I
Mhm.
feel like. Those it's just, like, it's so fun and it's so entertaining. You don't
Yeah,
expect that out of cats usually, so it's like,
you know.
"Wait, okay, you're a little bit more playful and stuff." That's so awesome. Well, for anyone who maybe has not, been introduced to you, maybe they just stumbled upon this, podcast or this YouTube, kind of introduce yourself a little bit and how you got into writing.
Okay, I'm Rachel Lee, and I got into writing. I actually started writing when I was a teenager. I used to write short stories just for fun. I ended up getting like an old style typewriter from my stepmom, and I started writing stories on that. And I actually have the first story I ever wrote on that. I think I was like 13. I have that saved away.
That's so
Um,
cool.
yeah, and I keep wanting to dig it out and read it. It's in a memory box that I put all my memory stuff in, like all through my years growing up, and it's in there somewhere. So one of these days I'm gonna have to pull that out. But yeah, I would just write short stories, and then I started writing poetry, just for fun. It was never anything like I never considered myself a writer or like ever had any plans to publish anything ever. It was just something I did just to like my downtime or just to escape my own thoughts. So then I had kids and life went on and I started reading again when I after I had my youngest. And then I finished a series and I had that book hangover. Like, man, what am I going to do next? Like, nothing, I can't get into anything. So I was like, I'm just going to write my own story. So I started writing, no plans to publish it whatsoever. And I just kept going and going. And I would send it to my friends and they're like, you need to publish this. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And eventually I did. Um, and then I just kept going after that. And I just like, I felt like it was something like a part of me that had been missing all those years. I was a stay at home mom, I had young kids, and it made me, I felt like myself instead of just mom again. You know, like
Mhm.
I was finding myself through it. So I kept going and it was the best decision I ever made. So yeah.
That's awesome. There's this thing recently that's been like trending on social media and stuff that I've seen that it's like for moms specifically, kind of what you just described. It's like moms when they have kids that when they are, when they don't want to just be mom, when they want to be themselves
Hmm.
again, that they call it like getting their pink back. Because
Yeah.
apparently, like it has to do with like flamingos or something, and I don't remember all the details, but it's like once they have like when flamingos like give birth to babies, they like become more white and stuff, and so
Oh,
it's like getting your pink back because you want to be, you wanna be like yourself again. And so I think that's awesome that, like, you
yeah.
found, a way to you wanted to have those things that was just like you and, feel like yourself again. And that fact that it was like, through writing is so awesome that you had that
Yeah.
opportunity and that obviously it's still going great.
Yeah, yeah, I guess I would say I got my pink, my pink back. I love that
That's so
analogy.
fun. Well, I think that's so awesome. Kind of walk me through your writing process. I always love to ask authors this, from book perspective. Okay, you came up with an idea.
Mm.
Walk me through. Okay, I have this idea all the way towards publishing because it's so different for everybody.
Yeah,
What is it like for you?
it is so different for everybody. So my process is like I have a whole list of ideas, and when I'm like I'm constantly adding to it, taking away, and like um, usually before I even finish a series or a book, I'm already excited about the next one. So my first thing I always do is I start looking at cover images because like I have to have my cover, my blurb, I have to have all that done before I start writing. It's just something that gives me inspiration. It gets me really excited. So usually once I have those things done and like a general idea of where the story's going, which comes from creating my blurb, I don't outline like at all. I'm a pantser, so I'll have general, yeah, I'll have key points like, okay, this guy's bad and he's going to do this. And, I'll have characteristics for the couple. But as for how it's all going to play out, it doesn't actually come to me until I'm writing. So usually once I get to the end of the book, then I'll have to start outlining so that I can make sure, not outlining so much, but I add notes in my document, like make sure to wrap this part up, so I don't leave things open. Because as I'm going, I tend to forget, like, main thing I always forget is like eye color. Like that's something big that my proofreader, my editor, and beta readers are always like, okay, this person had green eyes. So now I know to take notes of their eye colors when I'm doing it, when I'm writing. But yeah, so it's really just my process is kind of all over the place. I get the blurb, the cover, I write, and then just kind of go by the key points and wrap it all up. And yeah.
That's awesome. How do you typically like to go about, finding your covers? Do you have, like you just said, you have a lot of ideas, so you have
Mhm.
kind of an idea for something, so you go into picking your cover with like that mindset. You're like, okay, like for this one, obviously, it's got the high school and the enemies to lover
Mhm.
esque and stuff. Do you like have the idea in your head when you're going in? Okay, like I want it to look like this, or are you kind of open to anything because it's you haven't fully formed obviously this whole book yet?
Somewhat, like, I get most of my cover models from the same photographers. So, like, when they'll post new people or new guys, like, one will catch my eye and I'll be like, "Okay, this one is perfect." That's what I did for my last one. Like, they shared this portfolio and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, he's perfect for the character for the first book in my new series." So I got that, and then my second book, I have that cover done, the one that it doesn't come out till June, but and I've had the cover image for a long time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have this image and he is perfect for this second book. So now I'm on the hunt for book three. Um, and one of the photographers just posted a new model. And I'm like, yes, this couldn't have come at a better time because he'd be perfect for book three. So yeah, it's really just kind of like looking around and seeing what pops up, what's new. And if I can't find something, then I'll just start asking photographers for like different, not portfolios. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but basically send me what you've got of guys in this age range, and then I'll just look through. And sometimes it can be a long process, but for the most part, if something jumps out at me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Then I try to snatch it up and go with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. I love like it's fun learning that about authors because I always thought, in my brain it always made sense like, oh yeah, for books, okay, they're getting written and then they're getting all these covers. And talking to most authors, you're like, no, I've had the cover. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Well, and
like I've had someone recently that came on and she was like, I had all six of my book covers for like the series that I wanted, and then I started writing the first book. And so I'm like, that's just crazy to me. It's like
yeah.
you didn't even have any of it written. It's like, no, these were gonna be the covers though. And I think that's so cool that you guys are like in my brain, I'm like, that seems so backwards. But to you, it's like, no, I want to know who I'm describing and like what they look
Hmm.
like. Like I don't want to have to it's harder for me to write a book and then try to like match the perfect person versus like,
Exactly.
here's the person, okay, I can write him now.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what a lot of, I guess not everybody does it the way I do, but for me it makes the most sense because like I kind of when I get the cover, I'll kind of match my character to that person. Not exactly, but enough to where they can actually be like, okay, this I can visualize this guy in my head. Like the eye color, like on Heartless Monster, he's got green or blue eyes. So I'm like, okay, he's gonna have blue eyes and dark blonde hair. For my side characters that might potentially get a book, I try not to give too much detail about them just in case. I don't want to buy a guy with super dark hair and brown eyes but then that can also get changed through the process when they're making the cover too. Like they can change eye color and change hair color a little bit too. So, yeah, I like to have it gives me so much inspiration to have my cover done, my blurb, so I can like look at the cover and imagine the person in my head because that's what I do. I'm the type of person like even when I'm reading books, if there's a guy on the cover, that's who I picture in my head. So, Yeah.
I think that helps too for readers because like there's sometimes, I personally like I love both. I didn't used to be a people cover person. I found myself kind of going ish that way recently.
Yeah.
I used to be like a straight up like I want to have like the cartoony people or just like the discreet covers. But then, you're reading a book and you're like, okay, you have to go on a TikTok or you have to go on Instagram and you're like typing this character's name in and you're like, how can I envision them? And all these people
Yep.
are doing this stuff versus if it's just like if I would have started with the people cover, it's like right there. Here you go. Here's
Mhm.
your inspiration.
Yep.
That's so fun. Well, obviously, you have a book that is coming out. Technically, we recorded this a little bit early, but it will be today, Friday, when people are hearing this.
Mhm.
Talk to me about this book a little bit if people haven't heard anything about it, kind of what we can
Okay.
expect. You mentioned Heartless Monster, kind of some of the tropes and stuff that people can get excited for.
Yeah. Well, can I show it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have the actual book, but I do have postcards. I'm waiting for my order to come in. So this is Heartless Monster. This is the model cover. It's
Isn't
kind of
he
a
beautiful?
he
Beautiful.
is. He's so perfect for the character too. And then this is going to be the discreet.
I love that. I love the like footballs like kind of faded in the background. It's not like the main thing, but it's
Yes.
like it's there, it's needed.
Yeah. So, Heartless Monster it's a enemies to lovers step sibling romance. So two families kind of come together. It's the Astor family and the Cromwell family. Um, the Astor girls, there's three of them, and then the Cromwell boys, there's four, and two of them are twins. Rome is one of the twins. He's the main character in Heartless Monster. So him and his stepsister are at odds. They have a little bit of a past, and he's not too happy with her for some of the things she's done prior to their parents getting married. So he holds a grudge. And now they're living together. Obviously, that's going to create some
We love
chaos.
forced proximity for enemies to
Yes.
lovers. They like the
Yeah. And they,
tension and the angst, 10 out of 10. So good.
yeah. Oh, I know. I love it too. So there is a lot of tension in that house. He's pretty deplorable at first. He's not very nice to her. So it's definitely it's it's bully, but it's not hardcore bully. He's not like he gets
It's like
redeemed.
it would be like a good like introduction into bully romance, I
Yeah,
feel
I think
like, because
so.
it's like it's not like the super like sometimes you want to cringe like at how like the level like it's very
Hmm.
much I'm so mad at you because of what you did but like also still insanely attracted to you kind of like
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
be
and
in your
he
space.
and he gets really possessive too. Like if he sees his friends talking to her, or there's another guy in school who shows some interest, and he does not like that. So that's when he starts to be like, he starts thinking like, why am I hate her? Like, why am I feeling this stuff? Why is this bothering me so much? And he doesn't know how to process that, and so he's like kind of learning and trying to go through his sort through his feelings. And yeah, so
It's my
there's some
favorite.
suspense in it because
It's
some
my
things
favorite when
happen.
men are like or characters it's like stuff with that they're trying to process their feelings and it's like it's okay to have feelings but they're like no I must be tough and I don't
Yeah.
understand. It's like, I can't have these feelings and it's like yeah, it's normal actually. Like
Yep. Yeah,
the step siblings thing maybe not the normal but
yeah. Yeah, it was so much fun to write because I love creating that like conflict in the characters where they're like struggling with their own feelings, and then when that light just comes on and they're like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I really like this person." Um and then you almost feel it with them. I mean, that's how I felt anyways. Like I could feel it. I'm like, "Yes, here we go." So yeah, it was a fun one.
I love that so much. So it comes out on Friday today to where people are
Yeah.
getting this. Where best can people, if they are kind of hearing about it and they're like, okay, introduction to bully, I like that. Enemies to lovers, like forced proximity. I'm here for all of that. Where can they find the book if they want to just like jump right in and read it?
It's on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. The paperbacks are actually they just became available today, which Friday they're going to be available anyways. But yeah, Amazon and Kindle Unlimited.
That's so exciting. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for this. Kind of walk me through characters. So you have these ideas and everything, but I always feel like, especially it's again with authors, and it's like, okay, you starting a new series or just things like that. But like these characters, how is that writing process like? Okay, I have these people I'm creating, obviously, they're characters, so they're coming out of, not thin air. Like, do you take your characters? Do you take any inspiration from like things or like TV shows, or I feel like I've asked people this so many times. I'm like, oh, I got this, from a TV show, or I saw this person at the airport, or like, do you ever take like some of your characters or like mannerisms or things like from real life?
No, not really so much. It's funny though that you asked that because there is this side character in Heartless Monster. He's kind of a bully, and I was actually talking to one of my beta readers yesterday, and she's like, "Is he going to get a story?" And then I said, actually in my head, I pictured him as one of the Have you ever seen A Christmas Story?
Yes.
One of the the bully with the red hair. I'm like, that's what I pictured him as, like a grown up that. So I'm like, that's how I described him. I don't know why that was in my head. Like I gave him that red hair. I was like, but other than that, no. So I was like, no, I'm probably not going to give him a story. He was kind of mean and whatever. But no, not really. I kind of just create them in my head. I actually all the characters in this series, I tried to give them like their own unique personalities. So I do have like character sheets for them, because eventually they're all going to get a book, which I think I've already said that. All
Hmm.
the siblings are going to get their own book. Um, but I just kind of match their personalities and then picture in my head and just kind of go with it like that. So,
I feel
yeah.
like that's always safe, if you ever do start basing characters off of like people in real life, people may be like, wait, what? Why do I know that person? Or if it's like someone maybe I've seen, it's like a popular thing. It's like, oh, I named a villain in my story after someone I didn't like, who did something wrong or something. And it's like that person circles back and it's like, wait, all those
No, I
things
did.
go.
Yeah, I did write a short story, like a bonus for an anthology, and I included like some of my author friends in it. Like they were in an elevator, and then the main character seen them in the elevator, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's Sarah Kate and Katie Ray and Gail Harris. Those are my favorite authors." Just
Love that.
like just as people go down in an elevator because they were all there for a book signing and just something fun to add in. But yeah, for the most part, for main characters, I just kind of create my own, which is really fun. I like doing it that way.
I love when authors do what you've just said you've done. I've never seen it until recently, but I was reading a book. I can't even remember. I think it was, um, oh, I'm forgetting whose book it was, but it was either Laura Pavlov or Catherine Cowell's book. But they like mentioned the other person. They were like their main
Oh,
character was like reading the other person's book, and
yeah.
I was like, and then I've seen it again for another book recently that I was like, someone mentions this other book like by name,
Yeah.
and I was like, I love when like I think that's so fun when you guys
Yeah, I do too. I like that too. And I've seen a
write each
lot of
other's
that.
stuff in. It's kind
Yeah.
of in a way, it's like, oh, this is my friend. So if I write about this book, then people are reading this book. And if they haven't read whatever the other one is, it's maybe like, oh, I want to know what the character's reading, like
Yeah.
the book, what like I'm gonna go pick that up now too.
Yep.
I think that's so fun. Where do you feel like your inspiration? I know you said you have like this whole big idea list, when you start to go and
Hmm.
write some of your books. Where do you feel like you feel the most inspired that a lot of these ideas come from?
I think music is a big inspiration for me. I create my playlist too as I'm like I said, I don't outline, but as I'm like plotting characters and stuff, I create playlists. Like I already have a playlist done for my next book that releases in June. Um, that I haven't even actually got to start on writing that yet. But I try to get all this stuff together ahead of time, and all that stuff combined just inspires me. The cover, the blurb, the playlist, Pinterest board. Um, but yeah, music is a big one for me. Like I'll be driving down the road and just listening to music, and then like something like a certain song will come on and lyrics, and like I'll be like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of the book that I'm going to write. I'll add it to my playlist, and then I'll listen to my playlist on repeat just to keep my head into the book. Um, yeah, so all of that stuff combined, I think.
I think that's so fun. So obviously this book is coming out Friday today.
Hmm.
I think you have your next one coming out already. What is your typical writing process like? I know we talked about like your writing process, but like your writing
Yeah.
time,
Oh
like
God.
that seems crazy fast. You already have some of
Hmm.
the blurb and the cover and stuff in the playlist
Uh-huh.
for this one, and you're already looking for the cover for the next one. Kind of
Yeah.
how fast are we cranking out books here? I feel
Um,
like it's gonna stress you out.
no, I get very stressed. This series I'm trying to do every 3 months. So my writing process or my writing time frame is actually very small. I try to write my book in 1 month. Doesn't always happen, but like I'll start off kind of slow. And then like the last 2 weeks, that's what I'll do. Like wake up to go to sleep, like all in between that time frame, I'm writing. Like I totally submerge myself into the book. Like I'm cooking dinner and they're in my head, like ready for me to get back to work for like 2 weeks straight. And that's when I'll get like half of the book out, is at that very end. I'm such a procrastinator, but I think it works well for me because I work well under pressure. Like if I didn't have
Mhm.
that pressure, then I probably wouldn't get it done because I'm such a slacker. So yeah, I give myself 1 month to write the whole book, but I try to have everything else done, all my teasers, all my graphics, everything else done before I really have to get into the writing cave. So everything's prepared and ready to go.
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
walk me through what a day looks like, if you're waking up, maybe I guess more towards the beginning, because obviously you said when it's like towards the back
Yeah.
half, it's like you wake up and you go to sleep writing. But if it's maybe towards the beginning and you're not plotting as much because you pants more of it, but
Hmm.
you have like the idea and you know what's coming out, you have the whole flow, you've done the blurb at this point, you have a really good idea still what's
Yeah.
happening. Kind of walk me through what that day looks like for you, your typical, okay, it's a writing day, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay. Do you want me to include like my routine with my kids too?
Go for it. I like
Okay.
these interviews is like it's meet the author, so we want to hear your author
Yeah.
stuff too. But like I think authors, people want to hear like you as a person too, and like your life.
Okay, so it's let's say a Wednesday. The alarm goes off. I get the kids up, get all their stuff ready for school. Their lunch is made. They get on the bus at 8:15, or well, between 8 and 8:15, they get on the bus. So they're gone. Then I come in, I sit down and drink my coffee and collect my thoughts. I'll usually get on social media, respond to like some Instagram, go in my group, post something. Then I'll drink some more coffee, just be lazy for a little bit longer, wait until the very last minute. No, I'm kidding. um, Usually on a day like that, I'll try to get out like maybe 1,500 words in the beginning. That'll be my goal, like 15 to 2,500 words. Or what I'm trying to do now is chapters, like, okay, one
Mhm.
chapter. So I'll get that out. I'll usually write for like 15 minutes, take a break, get up, move around a little bit, sit back down. I do use the sprint rooms a lot. I sprint with other authors. So it kind of holds me accountable because, um, like I said, I'm a slacker. And if I don't have like somebody cracking the whip, I'm gonna probably lay on the couch and watch TV. So, um, yeah, and once I get my word count for the day, then I'll just, it depends on other stuff I have to do. If I have to send a newsletter or, work on graphics with my PA or my designer, just approving things, checking emails, things like that. I definitely have a little bit of downtime for myself. I do have to catch up on my reality TV shows because that's something I do. I watch a lot of reality TV shows. Um, and then I get the kids off the bus and then I'm mom again. So,
Awesome. Okay, well I have to go back to the reality TV because I
okay.
also love to consume my reality TV. So what are some of your favorites?
Right now it's The Bachelor, which that just ended. I watched Jersey Shore, Teen Mom, uh, Love on the Spectrum. I love that show. I just watched both seasons of that. And then I actually, after that, watched the Love on the Spectrum Australia. And
I haven't seen that one.
oh, really? The Australia one or both of them?
Both of them. I haven't seen just Love
Oh,
on the
they're so
Spectrum.
good. Oh, they're so
I've done
good.
more of
I
like the
love them.
Love
They're
is
so cute.
Blind and the like Married
Oh,
at
yep.
First Sight and
Yep.
The Bachelor too.
Yep. Love is Blind. That's another one that I watched. The Challenge. I like a lot of the MTV ones. Um, so yeah, that's what. And
Were
then
you
also I watched the soap opera Days of Our Lives. I started watching that when I was 13 years old. I have watched it ever since. I'm behind right now. I'm like a month behind, but I watch those occasionally when I have nothing else to watch. So
I think that one and then The Bold and the Beautiful were ones that my mom, like, constantly watched when I was growing
yeah.
up. Like, it was certain times at night, like, that was, like, her time. It was, like, when her soaps came on and it was, like, she was gonna, like, fold laundry, but, like, don't go in mom's room when she's, like, this
Hmm.
time. It's, like, leave
That's
her alone, that's her time. And I was like, "Okay," but if you, like, did walk in for something and it's like, "Mom, I need, like, a question," it was, like, that or, like, The Bold and the Beautiful was all I saw.
yes. I actually, when I'm folding laundry, I'll put Days of Our Lives on in my room. That's lately when I'm folding laundry on my bed. That's when I watch it lately. But
That
yeah,
was
I've watched that for
100%.
like 20 plus years now.
That's so
It
funny.
makes me feel like an old lady saying I watch. Like everybody's like, "You watch a soap opera?" I'm like, "I love it. I can't help it. The drama."
It's the drama. It's like, I watch
Yeah.
plenty of like trash reality TV too and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Were you surprised with obviously like the Bachelor ending was earlier this week? Were you surprised or were you kind of expecting that's how it was gonna go?
I was I was expecting it, but I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. Just I loved the other girl so much. And then I was also a little disappointed when they announced the next bachelorette and it wasn't her.
I
I don't
felt
know if I probably shouldn't give away any spoilers, right? I don't
I
know.
feel like at this point in time, it's been a like
Yeah, it's out there now. But yes, I love them both, but I loved how they both handled it too. It was really mature of both of them and
this has been one of the like they said it was like super dramatic and everything, but I really feel like it hasn't been like
mm-mm,
it's
no.
been a very like the women respected the women kind of series most
Mhm.
ways and like he was actually a really good lead. I
He
thought
was.
this was one of like the better seasons they've had in a
It
while.
was so much, and I think he is my favorite bachelor at this point because I think I've watched almost all of them, and he was so he was never awkward. He was so fair to all of them. He was open and honest, and yeah, it was. I didn't see a whole lot of drama either, so I was happy with it.
I think my favorite bachelor still has to be Sean Lowe and
Oh
Catherine.
my gosh, he's my second. I was thinking that when they were doing the final rose thing and they were saying how he's the best bachelor, I was like, but what about Sean? Sean was a pretty good one too. Sean and Catherine.
They're
Yeah.
like married for so long now, have like 3
Mhm.
kids. I'm like, they're still the epitome of success.
Yes. Yes.
Love them so much. Well, okay, obviously, you have children and you like to watch reality TV. If there's anything else, in your free time, again, when you're not being an author, and I guess, I mean, not being mom, is there
Mhm.
anything else that it's like in your free time, like hobbies or stuff that you just like love to do as a guilty pleasure of yours?
Well, I like to read, but I haven't had much time for that lately. I like to play Monopoly Go on my phone. I sound like such a boring person. Oh my gosh, I watch soap operas and play Monopoly Go, and Candy Crush. Um, I we like to go for walks, which we haven't got to do that much because it was snowing today here again. We like to go for walks, especially in the spring and summer. I I love going to book signings. I just got back from one a couple days ago. Um, I used to do a lot of crafting. I used to do sublimation printing. I actually packed all that stuff away though and haven't touched it in months, which I do miss it. It's just I don't have time for it anymore. So
Yeah,
I would do like vinyl printing and sublimation, like mugs, pop sockets, all that stuff.
that's really
So
cool.
yeah, so that's something that I always love to do. But like I said, I just don't have time for it right now. So hopefully in the future, like I need to kind of manage my time a little bit and set aside some time just to do the things that I enjoy outside of writing, which I love writing. So
I
yeah.
love that, to you, writing is not like it still probably feels like a job. I mean,
Hmm.
it's like it's a job, but it's not one of those things that's like the biggest stressor ever. Obviously, when you're in crunch time, it probably does
Yeah.
feel like that, but it's still an outlet that you get to use that you get to just like channeling, you get to
Hmm.
feel so many different stories and stuff like that. I feel like that has to be a great stress relief in a way, but also probably a stressor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love there's just nothing quite like coming down to my office, shutting my door and drowning everybody out and then just like escaping into a different world. So yeah,
I
I
love
love
it.
it. I mean, it can definitely be stressful and um there are times that it feels like but for the most part, it's like to me it's the best job in the world. So, yeah.
Do you feel like your office, was gonna be my next question is like, where do you like to write best? But do you feel like it's your office at home that you can just like shut everybody else? Or do you think
Yep.
you're someone that maybe you can go to like a coffee shop or at the airport or things like that?
No, see, I can't. I struggle to write in public. I get social anxiety so bad. And like when I'm even at a hotel for an event, I can't focus and write. I'm too anxious. Like it's too hard for me to just sit down and relax and write. I can't go to a coffee shop. I feel like people are watching me or looking over my shoulder. So yeah, I always, for the most part, write at home. I did actually get one of these handy dandy devices, a dictation device.
That's
I
cool.
have not had any luck with it yet, but that's something I wanted to try. Like as I'm, doing chores around the house, just talking into it and then transcribing it when I'm done. But that's still a work in progress because I stumble over my words a lot and I'm like, oh, backspace. Wait, I can't backspace. So yeah, for the most part, my office or anywhere at home where it's not too noisy, I can drown out my kids pretty well. Like if they're yelling and fighting, I've learned to like drown out that, but for the most part, it's my office that I write.
Awesome. I think that's
Yeah.
so cool. And I think you got to keep, your special places that are good for you, for the creativity thinking and stuff like that. And it's, again, so fun
Mhm.
just to ask authors that because a lot of people do say their office. I had someone who
Yeah.
said that they can like only write in bed. They get the most work done. Like they have to have their little like pillow and their laptop
Yep.
sits on the little thing, but like they only can write in bed. They can't do it anywhere else. And I was like, honestly, if I could write in bed, like I do it too. I would probably fall asleep.
Yeah. I do write in bed sometimes. Yeah. But a lot of times when I lay in bed, I get too comfy and then I'm like, okay, now I do want to just go to sleep. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like I said, I was the same way. I was like, I don't like I love that you can crank out like 2,000 word, whatever, just like sitting there. I was like, I would fall asleep in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Well, we talked about obviously where people can get this. So again, this is going to be out on Friday. So the book will be available then. Is there a best place for everyone to connect with you and, obviously stay up to date, if they can connect with you on socials or things so
Yeah.
that they, after this book, can see your other books or, the next one in the series and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, I have a Facebook readers group, Rachel Lee's Ramblers. So that's an option. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I have a website. So, and I also do sell signed paperbacks on my website. So, rachelleeauthor.com. Yeah, so I'm pretty much on all the social media platforms.
Awesome. Well, is there anything that I didn't ask you today that maybe you just want to say or just kind of get out there too before we end?
I don't think so. I think we covered quite a bit. So, this was fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for taking the time to come and chat with me today and
Yeah,
just
of
let
course.
everybody get to know more about you and about this book that's coming out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And you guys make sure that you're staying up to date on everything happening here at Michaela's Book Nook for future author interviews and reviews and more. Until next time, bye guys.